I had given up on finding something real. Told myself that love was just a wheel, spinning round and dropping people off at the same sad station, same old scarf. I had packed my heart in bubble wrap, folded up my feelings, closed the gap, put a little sign that said not home. Figured I was better off alone. Then you showed up with your easy grin, knocked so soft I almost let you in. Didn't push or pull or make a fuss, just stood there like you trusted us. And something in me opened up a door I didn't even know was there before. A room inside me dusty, cold and bare, suddenly had sunlight and fresh air. I love you all my life, not just on the good days. I love you all my life, through the fog and the haze. You walked into my world, and the whole thing made sense. I love you all my life, from that moment and since. You never tried to fix me or rewrite. You never told me how to feel at night. You just sat beside me on the floor, and that was worth more than any cure. You made me laugh at things I used to cry. You never asked me once the reason why. You handed me my coffee just right, and somehow that alone felt like a lifeline. The little things you do without a thought are the biggest things that can't be bought. The way you check on me without a text, just show up when you know that I am wrecked. And nobody has ever made me feel like every single broken piece was real, like every ugly part of who I am was still worth loving, still worth giving a damn. I love you all my life, not just on the good days. I love you all my life, through the fog and the haze. You walked into my world, and the whole thing made sense. I love you all my life, from that moment and since. I used to think that love meant losing ground, that you had to give yourself up to be found, that somewhere in the middle you'd disappear and come out somebody else on the other side of here. But loving you has taught me something new. I didn't lose myself, I grew. You gave me back the parts I threw away. You made me wanna show up every day. They talk about love like it burns you alive, like you're lucky just to make it out and survive. But what we have is nothing like that fire. It's more like breathing steady and entire. It's waking up and knowing you're near. It's falling asleep without a trace of fear. It's fighting hard and finding our way back. It's knowing us is something we won't crack. I love you all my life, not just on the good days. I love you all my life, through the fog and the haze. You walked into my world, and the whole thing made sense. I love you all my life, from that moment and since. Someday when the years have all piled high, when we've watched 1,000 seasons passing by, when the mirror shows us versions old and worn, I will love the you that time and life have torn. I will love the lines beside your tired eyes. I will love the you that no longer tries to be anything but simply what you are. Still my favorite person, still my favorite star. And if you ever doubted on a hollow night, when the world feels heavy Yeah, all my life, not a single day goes by I don't know why. I love you all my life, and I will till the day I die. I learned you slowly like a second tongue, the way you stretch your arms when day is young, the way you hum a song with no real name, and look outside the window like the clouds are not the same. I learned the way you hold your mug with two hands, the way you nod your head like yes, you understand, the way you go so quiet when you're thinking something through, like the whole world has to pause to keep up with you. I learned that you say fine when you don't mean it, that you laugh the loudest right before you feel it, that you never ask for help until the very last, and that you hold on gently to things in the past. And every little thing I learned about you made me wanna stay and learn a little more, like a book I never wanted to stop reading, like a place I never felt before. I love you all my life, every page and every part. I love you all my life, every corner of your heart, the easy and the heavy, the lost and the found. I love you all my life, you're my favorite sound. You love the rain, but hate the getting wet. You remember every face, but names you always forget. You apologize to chairs when you bump them in the night, and you cry at old commercials like it's perfectly alright. You make your bed like someone's coming round to stay, even when it's just another ordinary day. You save the last bite, always for the one you love the most, and you make the whole world warmer like a fireplace and toast. I never told you how much these small things mean to me, how they paint a bigger picture of the person that I see, not the version you perform when you think you're being watched, but the real and raw and tender you that cannot be retouched. And every little thing I see inside of you makes me feel like I am standing on firm ground, like the searching I was doing all those years before was just looking for the home that I have now found. I love you all my life, every page and every part. I love you all my life, every corner of your heart, the easy and the heavy, the lost and the found. I love you all my life, you're my favorite sound. We had a night last winter when the words came out all wrong, when the silence in the kitchen stretched uncomfortably long, when we both said things that landed harder than we meant, and the whole night felt like money we couldn't get back, already spent. But you came and sat beside me on the edge of our old bed, didn't say a single sorry, just laid your tired head, and somehow that said everything that words could never say. That we were not our worst night, we were choosing anyway. That is the kind of love I never read about in books. It doesn't come in sunsets and it doesn't come in looks. It comes in the returning when the going gets too steep. It comes in staying wide awake so the other one can sleep. Love is not the highlight that you post up on the wall. It is picking up the pieces when the other one starts to fall. It is knowing all the damage and not using it as a blade. It is being the one person not afraid of what you've made. I love you all my life, every page and every part. I love you all my life, every corner of your heart, the easy and the heavy, the lost and the found. perfect love that shines without a crack. I just need the love that always finds its way back. The kind that doesn't crumble when the pressure starts to show. The kind that gets more rooted the deeper that we go. You are not my whole world and I won't put that on you, but you make the world I live in feel entirely new. You make the hard days lighter and the good days feel like gold. You are the finest story I will ever get to hold. I love you all my life, yeah, all my life. Not because I have to, because I want to stay. I love you all my life, more than I know how to say. There came a time the honeymoon grew thin, when real life knocked and let itself right in. When bills were loud and patience running low, and love was less a feeling, more a choice to show. We stopped saying good morning for a while. We passed each other daily without a smile. The table where we used to laugh and talk became a place we'd sit and take a fork. I noticed how we never touched by accident, how every conversation came and went, like strangers sharing space but not alive. The distance growing sharper like a knife. And I sat alone one evening in the dark, asking if we'd lost our only spark, wondering if love is strong enough to last, or just a beautiful thing that belonged to the past. I love you all my life, even through the hard. I love you all my life, even when we're scarred. Love is not just sunshine, sometimes it is rain. I love you all my life, through the joy and the pain. You said I never listen when you speak. I said you shut me out for weeks and weeks. We threw our tired words across the room, like neither one of us could find the broom. And then we both went quiet, both went still. Two people on opposite sides of a hill, both waiting for the other one to try, both too proud to be the first to cry. But then you said my name so soft and plain, not angry anymore, just tired and pained. And something in the way you said it then made me remember why I chose you again. Because underneath the noise and all the mess, underneath the tension and the stress, there was still the person that I chose, still the one my heart already knows. I love you all my life, even through the hard. I love you all my life, even when we're scarred. Love is not just sunshine, sometimes it is rain. I love you all my life, through the joy and the pain. Nobody tells you love requires work, that it comes with waiting corners and a quirk, that the person that you love will drive you mad and be the only comfort when you're sad. Nobody tells you that you'll hurt the ones who matter most when all the patience runs, that you'll say things in the middle of the night that you'd give anything to make right. But here is what I know now, standing here after all the fights and all the fear. Love that only lives in easy days was never really love in any real ways. The love that lasts is one that hits the floor, gets back just sunshine, sometimes it is rain. I love you all my life, through the joy and the pain. We fix things slowly, one small piece at a time. One sorry, one hug, one cup, one rhyme. We didn't fix it all in just one night, but we both decided we were worth the fight. And now I hold the hard times like a reminder that we came through broken and came out kinder, that nothing we have built here came for free. Every part of us was paid for by you and me. So when the next hard season finds our door and love feels less like love and more like a chore, I'll remember what we chose to do right here, that we stayed and that we loved through every fear. I love you all my life, yeah, all my life. Not just when it's easy and the sky is clear. I love you all my life, more because we made it here. Nobody writes songs about a Wednesday night, about the two of us beneath the kitchen light. You washing up the dishes, me drying every plate, talking about nothing much but still staying up late. Nobody writes songs about the grocery store, about you sneaking things we don't need into the drawer, about the way you read the labels out aloud, like every single ingredient deserves to be proud. Nobody frames a moment on the couch at 10, when the show is over and we watch the credits, and then we stay there anyway because neither wants to move, and silence with you always finds its own sweet groove. But these are all the moments I would choose again over every grand and golden now and then. Give me ordinary any given day, with you beside me living it your way. I love you all my life, in the small and the plain. I love you all my life, in the sun and the rain. Not the fireworks only, but the everyday life. I love you all my life, every ordinary night. I love the way you argue with the television set, like somehow all your shouting helps the players not forget. I love the way you make a plan and throw it all away, and somehow still end up exactly where you meant to stay. I love the way you dance when you think no one is around, the way your socks slide sideways on the hardwood without sound, the way you sing the wrong words with such absolute belief, like the song was always yours and you just gave the tune relief. I love the Sunday mornings when we have nowhere to be, when the whole wide world is quiet and it's only you and me, when the coffee pot is gurgling, the curtains letting go, and every simple moment feels like something to be told. Because the truth about a life well lived and loved is not the mountain peaks we dreamed of from above. It is every single valley in between. It is all the little living in the unseen. I love you all my life, in the small and the plain. I love you all my life, in the sun and the rain. Not the fireworks only, but the everyday life. I love you all my life, every ordinary night. People chase the extraordinary all their day, already there, already in the beautiful, already in the rare. It was not a mountaintop, it was not a foreign sky, it was not a perfect sunset with a perfect reason why. It was just our little kitchen with its crooked second shelf. It was just you making dinner, being completely yourself. And I thought, how many people spend their whole lives looking out for something just like this without a shadow of a doubt, for someone who just fits the way you fit beside my side, for a love this warm and simple that is nowhere left to hide. So I will not waste another day in chasing something bright, when the brightest thing I know is you by ordinary light, when the richest life I have is this one right in front of me. Two people choosing each other daily, wild and free. I love you all my life, in the small and the plain. I love you all my life, in the sun and the rain. Not the fireworks only, but the everyday life. I love you all my life, every ordinary night. So keep on arguing with the screen on a Thursday night. Keep on dancing in the hallway when you think I'm out of sight. Keep on humming in the shower with the wrong words to the song. Keep on being all the wonderful that you've been all along. Because these are all the memories I will carry when I'm old. Not the grand and shining stories that are easy to be told, but the Tuesday and the Wednesday and the nothing special days, when you love me without trying in your quiet little ways. I love you all my life, yeah, all my life. Every boring, beautiful moment we have known. I love you all my life, in the ordinary you have shown. I noticed your first gray hair on a Monday. You were standing at the mirror looking one way. You pulled at it and frowned a little bit, and asked me if I thought that this was it. I laughed and said it looked like silver thread, like something quietly beautiful instead. You rolled your eyes and went back to your day, but I stood there for a moment in the doorway, because I saw it then so clear and whole. The years were writing stories on your soul, not taking things away but leaving marks, like initials carved in wood inside the parks. And I thought, I have never loved a thing more than I love the life that years can bring, more than I love the you that time has made a little warm but never once afraid. I love you all my life, every year that passes through. I love you all my life, every older version of you. Not just who you are, but who you're becoming still. I love you all my life, and I always will. Our knees are not as quiet as they used to be. We make a little sound just getting up from our city. We laugh about it now like it's some kind of joke, but honestly it's just the language that our bodies spoke. We sleep a little earlier than we once did before. We don't stay up for midnight like we used to anymore, but there is something sweeter in the early morning light, when I reach across and find you still there from last night. We talk about the years the way you talk about old friends, with warmth and with the fondness that just never really ends. About the roads we traveled and the ones we never took, about the life we built together like a hand-sewn book. And not a single chapter would I tear away and burn, not even all the pages that were hardest to learn, because every line has led us to this very place. Two people who still still choose each other face to face. I love you all my life. Every year that passes through, I love you all my life. Every older version of you, not just who you are, but who you're becoming still. I love you all my life, and I always will. Growing old with someone is a privilege, not a given. Not everyone gets someone worth the full life they are living. Not everyone gets Sunday morning 60 years down the line. Not everyone gets someone who still makes the whole world shine. I watch the younger people rushing headlong into love, searching for the lightning bolt that comes from somewhere above. And I wanna stop and tell them, slow down, pay attention. Love is less about the spark and more about the intention. It is who shows up at midnight when the fever will not break. It is who sits in the waiting room for someone else's sake. It is who remembers how you take your tea on tired days. It is who has loved you longest in the most unglamorous ways. That is the one worth keeping and worth building something for. That is the one worth opening your most protected door. And I found that one in you on some forgotten Tuesday. And I'd walk back through my whole life just to find you the same way. I love you all my life. Every year that passes through, I love you all my life. Every older version of you, not just who you are, but who you're becoming still. I love you all my life, and I always will. When the garden that we planted has grown taller than our heads, when the children of our children sleep in little childhood beds, when the house is full of laughter from the lives that we have grown, I will look across the table and I will not feel alone. Because you will still be sitting there with tea gone cold again, still humming something tuneless now and then, and now and then. Still the one who knows me better than I know my own two hands. Still the only one on earth who truly understands. And when they ask us at the ending what we did with all our years, we will smile and say we loved each other through the joy and tears. We will say we chose each other every single morning new, and that was all we needed, me and you. I love you all my life, yeah, all my life. Every gray hair, every wrinkle, every line. I love you all my life. Growing old with you is fine. If somebody gave me back my very first day and told me I could choose a different way, told me I could map a brand new road and put down every single heavy load, I would walk the same streets in the same old shoes. I would make the same mistakes and same tattoos. I would sit inside that same old place and wait, because all of it was leading me to you, and that was fate. Every wrong turn brought me to your door. Every loss was just preparing me for more. Every broken piece of everything I had was just making room for something good inside the bad. And I would not trade a single stumble, not a single fall, a moment I felt small. 'Cause every road I walked, however hard, brought me back to you, and that was worth it all. I love you all my life, every part of the story. I love you all my life, through the struggle and the glory, from the very first breath to the very last line. built a life from nothing but a choice, from a simple leap of faith and a quiet voice, from two people who just said, let's try this out, and slowly turned the maybe into no more doubt. We have painted walls and argued over shades. We have planted things and watched them grow in decades. We have held each other up through darkest night and celebrated every small and shining light. We have been each other's shelter from the cold, each other's favorite story to be told, each other's home when home was hard to find, each other's peace inside a restless mind. And everything we are right now today was built from all the ordinary. Every day was built from all the choosing and the care, from showing up and simply being there. I love you all my life, every part of the story. I love you all my life, through the struggle and the glory, from the very first breath to the very last line. I love you all my life, and I'm so glad you're mine. I wanna say the things I sometimes forget to say, when the busyness of living gets in the way, when the days blur into weeks and weeks to years, and we forget to say the things the other person hears. So let me say it plainly, standing here right now, without the perfect setting or the perfect value, have made my life a richer, warmer thing. You are every note inside the song I sing. You are the reason I believe that people can be good, that kindness is not weakness like the world has sometimes said it could, that love is not a fairy tale that only fools pursue. I know this all for certain because I have known you. You taught me how to soften in the places I was hard. You taught me that admitting hurt is not the same as scarred. You taught me that the bravest thing a person never does is simply loving openly without a safety clause. And I will spend whatever time this life decides to give, loving you completely in each moment that I live. Not perfectly, not flawlessly, but honestly and true. Every single day I wake is one more day for you. I love you all my life, every part of the story. I love you all my life, through the struggle and the glory, from the very first breath to the very last line. I love you all my life, and I'm so glad you're mine. So here we are at the ending of this song, but the ending of the song is where we both belong, because this was never really just a melody and rhyme. This was every single moment of our time. This was coffee in the morning and the fighting late at night. This was finding our way back and doing wrong then right. This was gray hairs and sore knees and dancing in the hall. This was you and me deciding we were worth it all. And if love is just a word, then let me make it more. Let me make it everything I have and everything in store. Let me make it every morning that I open up my eyes. Let me make it every hello and every last goodbye. I love you all my life, yeah, all my life. Every chapter, every verse, every song. I love you all my life. You are where I will always